Well, it's been 3 weeks or more because I was sick, and then it was Thanksgiving, then I was out of town. Not that I missed watching this show, though, but we are back to do a final rankings for Survivor 43. We'll probably mostly talk about last night's episode, but Mike, do you have anything you want to talk about the 3 episodes prior that really grinded your gears or anything,
All
or
right,
that you enjoyed?
let's talk about the Water Great Challenge. It's a good challenge. I've always
Yeah,
been a
it
fan of
is.
it. They effed it up. These two competitors outlasted the tide. Good for them. They should have kept going until someone dropped. And I mean, it's as easy as now your hands have to hold on to the grate. No more letting go. Like that's the challenge now. Like, and instead, Modern Survivor is just like, well done. What a beautiful moment in the history of our show. Now you guys are both immune. Which just I'm happy Owen's immune. Carla, could give or take. But like still they should have gone until there was one winner. Not two. When the challenge is supposed to have one winner, there shouldn't be two winners. I don't care
Is
how impressive it is.
Is this the issue with the shorter season where they just have to move on quickly to because they don't
That's
have
the
enough
issue
time?
because they have to have tribal that same night.
Mhm.
So then they're going to ruin their whole schedule because they're only out there for 26 days now, which is a joke. I mean, like they haven't even merged in most seasons yet. And we're at Final
I
Five.
know, yeah.
They're on day 22. And day 22 in Gabon, they were 2 days from the merge. So
I guess that's one other thing. COVID. I guess we could blame COVID for, but they say they're never going back to anything longer.
that's what
So.
they say. And they're going to do it because it's cheaper this way. And guess what? People are still watching. So, like, why would they go back to the more expensive, longer format unless they have a Survivor purist running the show? And spoiler alert, Jeff Probst has a lot of creative control, and he's clearly not a Survivor purist.
No, not at
Sorry.
all. Yeah, that is an issue I have as well with the kind of why do stands, I guess we'll say stands and not fans, why do stands accept mediocrity so easily on everything?
Oh, I mean, like, look at me. I mean, I'm not going to stop watching. Like as long as the show's on the air, I'm gonna watch. But I guess it's just like me hoping and having nostalgia. I mean, there can be good modern seasons. In my opinion, David versus Goliath was a great season, and that was modern Survivor. But it was made great by the people, you know, mostly for that season.
Yeah, I guess they have to really figure out a way to, in this short amount of time, still make the people interesting. And I don't know if they've been able to do that so far.
Give them one more episode to use how they see fit, but don't do the hourglass shit. But give them one more episode, or give them hour and a half long episodes. Stop casting super fans. Go back. I mean, the 39 days, it's somewhat important, but like that's like bottom of my list of like how to fix Survivor. Like really, it all comes down to if you don't have interesting people, you don't have an interesting game. And the 19 super fans that are always going to take this move like this move that happened last episode in stride, that's not interesting. And
It's not
so
interesting.
I guess we'll touch on it from a positive standpoint. Um, this was a really good move by Jesse, and it was a pretty good moment. I don't like Jesse that much,
We
but
know, we know.
but
Have
I'm
you do you like him more since last time we've talked?
I'm respecting his game more from this move. I think it was a really good move. I'm going to give credit where it's due, and the editors did a pretty good job, and they explained exactly why it was going down this way. It was a good plan, while still giving suspense as to what the result was because we didn't know if he got Cody's idol back or not.
Yeah.
It was a good episode. A good episode in a bad season, in my opinion, or a mediocre season. But it was a really good episode. So I said something positive about Survivor.
You did, but that was actually why I asked the question about stands, is because I see everybody on Twitter being like, "Oh, this was such a great episode," it's like a desperation for the fans to try and say the season is good because of this one episode, where there's plenty of seasons of Survivor where we get great episodes consistently or like in a row because we have a lot of great moments in episodes. That's why I just feel like, which I mean, the show's been on a long time and that happens to everything that's been on a long time, but still, I don't know. It was a great episode though. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
It was the best episode of the season.
I'm not saying it's saving the season. Trust me, I'm not saying that. But
No.
it was a good episode. And I had a positive experience watching that episode. Yeah, no. And I'll talk about specific players when we get into our rankings. I'm not going to go into that right now. But my point, okay, I guess I'll talk about Cody because he's out. Cody, and this is the thing, is like they're casting only super fans. Like Cody was like, you know, yeehaw or cowabunga or whatever he did with his like, and he's always, but he's happy go lucky or whatever, but he's still a super fan, and he still has like all of his confessionals were like, yes, I'm gonna get every other salesperson out, you know, but you know, he's going to be advocating for Jesse on the jury if Jesse's in the final three. You know he's going to respect the move more than anything else, because that's what super fans are expected by the Survivor community and by the producers to do. They're expected.
I'm convinced that the producers are making these people hug each other and be this, oh, we're such family.
I'm sick of the kumbaya. And like, if there's a person on the season who's genuinely feels that way, fine. But Cody just lost his chance at $1 million to his own idol, to his best friend out there. And the most emotion we get is this like dramatic walk up and then a hug. and he looked over at him during, you know, the vote read. And like, I don't know, man.
He did say in his exit interview, this was the most angry he's ever been in his life. But then he hugs the guy.
That's the most angry you've ever been in your life. You've had a pretty sheltered. No, maybe not. I mean, I have $1 million chance at it, you know, but I feel like you're right in that the producers are strongly encouraging people to not be bitter on their way out when that can be, if that's the genuine emotion being felt, it's a positive thing.
I agree. It's better TV. Do you want to talk about you being the 2 seasons in a row? You're the first player to lose
everybody. Yeah, that got lost because oh no, we didn't have the episode. Yeah, I for the person who suggested we do this and said we should all do it. Gosh, I really know how to pick. I mean, I'm happy with my choices off of preseason press. I can't. That's what, you know, I'm just going off of impressions of what I think of people. It's really hard. I'm shocked Cody made the merge. Like, I thought there's no way they let this like slime ball make the merge, and he was 6th place and a genuine threat to win the game if he wasn't out, you know, at least from what the edit shows us. So
after Cody went home, I was hoping Aspen would be here to face the music of Cody, but
yeah, who's left on teams? I know Boo Boo's gone. I know I'm gone.
Yes, Boo Boo is gone too. Fan Guy has Carla, Aspen has Cassidy and Owen, and I have Jesse and Gabler.
I think you've got the. I don't know. My rankings aren't going to reflect this too well, but like.
Even I hope Aspen's team win because I don't like my team, as I've been saying all season. Yeah. Although I guess if Jesse does end up winning, I still have bragging rights, I guess.
You would get bragging rights. I think Gabler could actually win the season. They've given him the right like type of confessionals. If he were to win, it's possible.
Well, I guess we will get into our 5 is tied because it's just you and I's rankings. And that is a tie between Gabler and Carla. We had them flipped. You had Carla last. I had Gabler last.
Yeah.
I don't like Gabler at all.
I don't think there's any way Carla gets out of the final 5 alive. I think Carla's almost certainly the next boot. So I ranked her the lowest in my chances to win. She's barely able to walk. So I don't think she's going to be able to win immunity as much as she's trying. And I don't see a world in which they don't vote her out. Or I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. I don't see a world in which Jesse doesn't vote her and play the idol, and then Carla goes. I don't see a world in which Carla survives the next vote. Prove me wrong. I don't see it making any sense from what we have been shown as viewers. So I think Carla isn't winning this game because of her position right now.
You said Gabler has a shot at winning. Why do you say that?
Because he's got his "I'm an assassin hiding in plain sight" confessional. You got his confessionals from the start of the season. It's what I mean. I've been wrong. I said the same stuff about James with his little confessional about exactly how he was going to win, and then how did that work out, right? But I could see Gabler winning if Jesse loses fire making to Gabler. I could see a Gabler, Cassidy, Owen final tribal going the way of Gabler. Like, I could.
I guess, do you think he just has enough respect to get a win, though?
Yeah.
Because if this is the super fan, as we've been saying this entire season.
I think he has enough respect to get the win. I feel like people are just going to look at Cassidy as a Carla follower, and they're going to look at Owen's voting record as voting incorrectly all the time. Of course, I say this, and then I'm like immediately hypocritical of my own rankings because I ranked Owen and Cassidy higher, as we'll see later. But like, I could see a path to Gabler winning. I could not see a path for Carla winning. And I think Gabler has to beat Jesse at fire and has to give a lights out final tribal council performance. So that's why I put him at 4.
I mean, I agree with Carla. I think Carla making the end would be shocking if she was able to get to the end at this point. I guess for me, Gabler is just like, I wouldn't respect his game if I was in there. But I guess I'm not as big of a game bot as everybody else. So maybe. But then also as a game bot, I just don't see how game bots respect his game. He would have to like explain his game very well.
He's voted correctly pretty frequently. We just haven't been given a lot of his rationale.
He's been like half and half with voting, I feel like.
Yeah, but he also used an idol fake out early on in the game or whatever with the shot in the dark, and he won an immunity, and he's kind of subtly painted people as targets. We've seen that happen. Again, I put him at 4, and I'm confident with him being at 4. I'm just saying, not counting him out.
Yeah, I guess that's. I really don't want him to win, even though he's on my team. I really don't want him to win. We'll move on to number 3, who probably isn't going to win, but I wouldn't mind him winning. That is Owen.
Mm-hmm. This is very close to where I have Owen. He's gotten a really strong underdog story, and he's a good narrator. That's why I ranked him pretty high. The problem being, I think he's in Final Tribal. I don't think he goes home before Final Tribal. I think he's in Final Tribal. The question is, who can he beat? I think he can beat Gabler because I don't know. I don't know where Gabler really stands in the jurors' minds. I don't think he can beat Carla if she somehow makes it there. I definitely don't think he can beat Jesse. And I think it's probably unlikely he's going to beat Cassidy, which we'll talk about later. But I don't think he can win a Final 3. If it was a Final 2, I think Owen could win. Don't think he can win a Final 3.
I mean, hear me out. Okay. So, like, this is game bots. You don't think there's any possibility of a bitter jury? Any possibility? Because if Jesse, even though people are hugging him because the producers wanted him to be hugged in these moments, he has played a villainous game. Which in years past, we've seen people who are backstabbing a bunch of people lose jury votes on Survivor. I feel like Owen is like the perfect winner of a bitter jury scenario. He would have to get to the end with Jesse and Carla to get that.
Jesse and Gabler, I think.
Maybe.
Or Jesse and Carla. All Jesse has to do is sit there on the final tribal stand and cry about how he needs to secure the future of his child and wife, and how he's an ex-con. I mean, come on. What person, self-proclaimed super fan, is going to vote against a villain who's trying to play, who gives a sob story? And if you vote against him, you look like you hate ex-cons or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Fair.
But like he's got the story. Like he's arguably got like the best story.
He
like
does.
ex-con, I keep saying, dude, you were in juvie.
I mean,
like,
it's literally why I drafted him in the first place.
but he's selling it as ex-con. You know, it's the same argument as Noel. It's like, how do you look at this person's life story? Why they're out there playing the game? And the confessional he gave in this last episode, where he's like, I'm not afraid to be cutthroat because I'm here playing for my wife and daughter. I'm not here playing for the experience or whatever. I'm here to win the $1 million. Like, if that's his argument sitting in the final three, I think there's a good chance. I would have a hard time seeing him lose if he's in final three. Anything's possible. I'd have a hard time seeing it with the story that we have been told as viewers.
I mean, I guess I could agree with that. We can talk about Jesse. He is number 2. He's probably played the best game out of everyone, even though I think both of us don't like him.
Yeah, this is me putting him below 2 other people. And it's because of this. I really conflicted on whether he wins or not. I feel like he might falter just short and lose the fire making challenge. Like he's in the final 4 because he has an idol, and we don't know of any idol nullifiers in play, and it would be kind of wild if there was at this point. So he's in the final 4. He just has to win a fire making, and he's at the final 3. However, I have a feeling he loses fire making. I have a feeling he loses fire making. We have never seen him make fire. And I feel like all the other players, with the notable exception of Carla, have a lot of like content and underdog going to them when we've clearly been shown Jesse as the overdog. And I feel like every other player, even Gabler, has like a very compelling narrative to be the one to beat Jesse in fire and win the game, including the number 1 spot that we're about to see on the list. And I feel like that's the story that they've set up this season. Maybe not. Maybe Jesse just wins from here because he made a really good move at the final 6. And they're just trying to give some sort of suspense to it. But I have a feeling if he sucks in immunity, he's never won an immunity. And I'm not saying he sucks, but he's never won an immunity. No one's going to be taking him, I would think. He's going to be in fire. And I feel like someone's getting a giant Slayer edit and they're going to win the game. So watching this finale, whoever's sitting next to Jesse making that fire, I feel like they might win the game.
Even though I rank Jesse number 1, I do agree with you because the editing, which I mean, with this show lately, how much can you really buy into the editing? But I do feel like if Jesse won the season by being this over-edited, almost villain, puppet master type of player, even though I find his moves to be, which I'll get to in a second, not good at times. But for game bots, they're great. Game bots think all of these moves are great. And if it's a bunch of game bots, then yeah, no emotions involved in a social game. But if he wouldn't be the winner, I feel like this would be a more popular season with CBS and with Jeff Probst than what I feel like it has been, because they would have this puppet master male winner to be able to be, hey, this is the winner. I do feel like it is somebody in those 3 that you mentioned who actually wins.
Yeah. And I didn't bring that up just because it kind of borders on spoiler territory, maybe. So, but I have heard that CBS isn't happy with this season, as have you. I don't know what the source on that is. Twitter, and I feel like they would have to be happy with a Jesse win. Yeah. I mean, come on, look at the guy. So, like, I feel like maybe someone else wins.
I feel like a lot of the speculation came from, because on Twitter, CBS and Survivor and Jeff Probst started hyping the premiere of next season before even mentioning a finale date of this season. So it felt like this season was an afterthought.
Yeah, I don't know. I try and avoid spoilers because it's annoying, but I've seen comments and people are just like, yeah, CBS doesn't like this season. And I'm like, CBS doesn't like this season. What does that mean? So, but I could totally see them not liking this season if, for example, Cassidy, Owen, or Gabler beat Jesse in fire and win the game. I feel like you'd probably be pretty happy with an Owen win as well, which is why I put Cassidy higher, because I feel like if Cassidy wins this game, Jeff Probst is going to be mad. I feel like if Gabler wins this game after like almost dying in the pre-merge from dehydration and starvation, then I feel like they're pretty mad. But maybe I'm crazy.
No, you're right. And this is speculation, but if they are unhappy with this season, like, you could edit it better. If somebody like Cassidy wins this season, you could have edited her better. She was right about almost every single vote we've seen her vote in.
Yeah. And like, I hated Cassidy preseason just because she's a Zodiac type person, which LOL this channel. But like, I don't remember why, but there was one episode where she was like the only person to vote in the minority, and I was like, "You go, girl." So I've liked her since that. I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago.
She's our number one.
She is our number one.
She was your number one as well.
I feel like she might be the person to win the game after Jessie loses into fire making. I feel like she might just win because she's gonna be like, y'all liked Carla so much, I was the one behind all of Carla's moves, and I'm still here, and I won, like, was it 2 immunities now? 1, 2?
At least 2.
2. Like, I won 2 immunities, and I didn't have an idol to help me get here, unlike some people, like, so many people. Like, she played pretty good, and she got targeted. She got targeted by Ryan. She got targeted by Carla. Like, she's been targeted. It's not like they're treating her like a goat. You know, people are either afraid of her or they don't like her, and they went for her, and she turned it around on them. You know, Carla's not out yet, but Carla's way more in the doghouse than Cassidy is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Cassidy's played a pretty good game, and I feel like if someone other than Jessie wins, it's probably Cassidy.
I would say that, yeah, the direction is pointing that way. She feels like the underdog that's kind of been hidden behind all of those shields that have been bigger players such as Cody and now Jessie.
And she's getting that Erica edit of 000 confessionals and then slowly getting only strategic content.
Yep.
It's literally just, she's just going to be another Erica. It's going to be really good. The internet's going to love this one when Jessie does lose in Final Tribal a la Xander and Cassidy wins.
I hope that happens. I can't wait to see some of these same viewers that are... Because a lot of these same viewers are loving Jessie's GameBot moves, but when Shan had to do this because her team kept losing, she was getting a lot of hate for it, but her team kept losing. She had to cut her allies. But Jessie's been cutting allies without even having to do so.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he got rid of his own tribe bit by bit, like pendulum strategy every other week for no reason. Like,
in a typical season before season 30 something, that would have been a clear loss for Jessie doing these kind of moves.
As it should be. Get rid of the Final Four fire making. There's another way to make it a vote. Make it a vote. If you want fire making, convince one person to vote with you. Make it a vote.
I agree.
Those are good. Those are good because then you have like let's say Jessie's sitting there like begging Carla like it's final 2 Carla. Let me win fire making so that I'm your shield. Like, you have to see them actually, you know, play the game and not just play who has the most advantages at the final 5 and then who can make fire. Like, that's not real Survivor. That's not like the social game, the pushing for it. Whatever. We all know how I feel.
I mean, I agree with you. We both felt that the same way. Well, any final thoughts on our final 5?
No, I mean, I don't think it's been a terrible season. I think I've said that, but I don't think that's fair. It's a mediocre season, as most of the modern seasons are, you know. It just doesn't feel like the same show. Like, I've been watching older seasons, and it just feels night and day.
It's like watered down. I've been so bored. They even have catching up on these episodes because I didn't watch these while we were not doing this. I had to catch up over the last 2 days. I noticed how subdued even the music is. It's like it comes in with this subdued music all the time, and they'll ramp it up at certain points, but like even the music is just not what it used to be. It was far more dramatic back.
because you had real people on there, not like people who are all thinking about how Survivor Reddit's gonna treat them. Like they're all like, oh, I need to make a big move because otherwise I'm gonna get called a goat on the internet. Like they're all just like constantly social media aware and like
it's not all their
hugs,
fault. That's
like,
just modern society too.
it's modern society's fault. And like when someone has the slightest tinge of negativity, like they just get hate mail and death threats. Like Shan from 2-3 seasons ago. It's just dumb. And like that's just another problem with it. But what can you do about that?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, unfortunately, because it is modern society. But it is what it is, I guess. I guess we will maybe try and do a post finale podcast next week. Depends on schedules. We'll see if I could be the only person other than Boo Boo to win the draft. Hopefully, the panel will have never beaten me if Jesse does win, or Gabler, I guess.
Oh man.
But I do think Cassidy and Aspen might be winning, but we'll see.
So wait. Fan Guy has Owen?
No, Fan Guy has Carla.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, poor Fan Guy. His team's washed up too. They're also having back pain and
True.
oh man.
Aspen has the likable team left, I guess, of Cassidy and Owen. I have the hateable team, unless you're a game bot you love out Jesse.
Yeah, no, that's welcome modern Survivor. Where it's been a season.
It's been a season. I agree. Well, until next time or next year, that is all for Survivor 43 for now.